Hello and welcome to the video. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the Nike Pegasus Premium training shoes. Really excited about this one. As you can see, I have two pairs of these shoes, and so I'm always having people asking me, Sam, what are the best shoes for training? And I always tell people, go to the running store, get fit, and see what shoes are going to be the best for you, right? A lot of running stores don't carry Nike products, so I'd also recommend going to a Nike store, seeing if these bad Jessies are available, and giving them a try and comparing. But with that said, I want to give you the overall review on how these shoes are. Clearly, I own two pairs. I'm a fan, but I'm going to go through the pros and cons because I don't think that these shoes are meant for everyone. And if you are going to put the investment in them, you just want to make sure you know what you're getting into. So we are going to do a review on 4 different areas. We're going to go over the performance, the durability, the overall design, and we will then touch on the value. It's important to note I have no affiliation with Nike as well as any other shoe brand, so everything I share in this video up to the time that I recorded it is fully non-biased and just based on my opinions and experiences. And if you hear any background noise, that is my dog playing with toys in here. I'm on dog parenting duty while my girlfriend Colleen is enjoying a nice 6-mile run. But jumping right in to performance, when these shoes first came out, probably like 5 or 6 months ago at this point, I was super excited about them because the way that Nike was advertising these shoes was as a performance-enhancing shoe meant for everyday training, right? It's not performance-enhancing in the sense where it's an illegal shoe. It's a fully legal shoe, but the technology that is put into these shoes are very advanced. And there was a lot of hype behind these shoes, but also I don't think Nike was mass producing them. So in order to purchase a pair, actually took me multiple months. I remember the first release date, I went on the website once they had came out, and I was unable to get a pair. And then I was checking every single week to see if they had any in my size, and kept seeing a bunch of sizes that weren't mine, and eventually through Fleetly was able to get my first pair, and then I got the second pair last week on Nike's website. But again, very out of stock, very hard to get. So it's not like you can watch this video and 100% be able to buy these shoes today. Check multiple websites and see if they're available. But for me, there was a lot of hype and excitement by a little bit of it being hard to get, I'm not going to lie. So I had really high expectations. And I think sometimes when you have these high expectations, you can be let down. But jumping into the performance, I think what has made these shoes so special in my training cycle for my next marathon is the fact that I feel very comfortable and safe with them. There is a lot of support, and then there's the air cushioning aspect of them, but they also have a very good springy sort of effect in motion to them. It kind of feels like I'm getting the best of both worlds with sort of like an Alpha Fly type of shoe, but with the stability of any high-level training shoe, which is an insane feeling. Often when you are wearing an Alpha Fly, it's a shoe that lasts 100, 150 miles. This shoe is meant to last much longer, and there's a lot less risk of injury wearing a shoe like this. And so training has been great. I've been seeing my paces being quite a bit faster for my easy runs. Just the overall motion has been much more natural in these shoes compared to some of the other training shoes I've worn, like Brooks, Saucony, Hoka's. They have great training shoes, but this is just another level. Like those shoes I had historically rated 8 to 9, 9.5 for performance. These are coming in at a 10 out of 10. So really, really have enjoyed them. But again, like, just because that performance is me doesn't mean that it's going to feel good for you. Doesn't mean it's going to prevent you from injuries or make you faster. They got to be the right fit for you. And I just have always done well with Nikes. anytime I like buy a pair, for whatever sort of category of fitness, they just tend to fit well with my feet. Now, moving into overall durability, these shoes right now are sitting at about 410 miles. I hit the 400-mile mark a couple days ago, and I put in a couple other runs. I had proactively bought these because I didn't know the next time I would be able to get a pair in my size, but I'm confident in saying that these shoes, no doubt, will exceed 500 miles. I wouldn't be surprised if I could get up to like 550, maybe 600. Now, where I'm training is typically paved surfaces that are like well maintained through Cleveland suburbs and then bike paths. So I'm not on like very rocky terrain or anything like that while wearing these shoes. There's a couple like rips like by the shoelace here you can see. But overall, like the bottom of the shoe looks clean. The air bubble, if I compare these two, like it looks a little flattened out at some points, but like all in all, it's looks pretty similar to the new one. And like the toe box, it's not breaking, it's not like overly loose or anything like that. I mean, these shoes are obviously like fairly dirty just because of the conditions I've ran in, but I still feel really good in them and confident anytime I go out and I wear them. So I would say when we talk durability, I give them an 8.5 out of 10. You know, these aren't going to be 700 plus mile shoes. I know that for sure. But I think with all considered, very durable shoes. And, you know, I wouldn't recommend probably converting these shoes to like everyday walking shoes after, just because I feel like they're so meant for running, built for running. That's like my personal opinion. So I think that's like part of like the somewhat lower score, where like some of those other brands I shared, I feel more comfortable wearing those for everyday use after it. But who knows, maybe I'll give it a chance. Next, let's talk style. I think like this was a big piece for me, because when I saw these, I instantly was like, wow, these shoes are like very simple design, but clean and incredibly fresh. So like the white and the orange, that's been like such a big theme for Nike. Like it almost seems like it's been like the year of orange, or the last 2 years of orange for them. But I really like this, and like there's a lot of other cool features of them, just like talking about how they're manufactured in Oregon, and I like the Air and the Nike logo and the Pegasus portion that's in here. So like a lot of like little pieces that just make the shoe look interesting. I like how like the air bubble looks, and the bottom is really clean. And then these black ones, it's like the same sort of look. I mean, they're just black and white and like almost a little blue in there. But there are like a few different colorway options, as you can see here online. Anyone can find a design that they would like with these shoes. And ultimately, you're not really buying them for the design. But if that's what you're buying it for, you know, I think they're pretty solid. So I'll give them a 9 out of 10 for design. The value. So these shoes are not cheap. They have been sitting at a price point of $220 since they've released. I have not seen any sort of discounts or sales, and I doubt that's going to happen anytime soon. Nike also has a training shoe that is really popular, the Vomeros, which I believe, at least when they came out, were like $180. And then if we want to talk about like Nike's normal Pegasus shoes, those are in the lower hundreds. When we talk about some of the elite competitive training shoes that you might see within like Hoka, Brooks, Saucony, those sorts of brands, those shoes tend to go for like 140, maybe. Once tax, shipping, and any other fees are considered, like $250, you're probably spending $80 to $100, perhaps more than a competitor, right? And as far as like how much miles you're getting out of them, I don't think you're getting more miles. You're getting more performance. You're getting probably a cleaner look, in my opinion, than a lot of these shoes. It's Nike. You know, a lot of people like Nike and just like the brand affiliation behind it, but they're very expensive. So my advice is this. Listen, at the end of the day, if you are like a beginner runner or someone that is just doing the sport for fun, from a value standpoint, they're probably not worth it, right? But if you're someone who is hyper motivated towards breaking a milestone, like you're training for a sub 4 hour marathon and you've been stuck between 4:01 to 4:10 for the last few years, or for my sake, training for a sub 3 hour marathon, you're trying to break a 90-minute half marathon or a 2 hour half marathon, whatever that might be for you. If you are just really time driven, like the value is worth it. But I think, again, if you just are doing the sport for leisure and time isn't important to you, I just think there's probably better options, right? So I'd say with that said, I'm going to give the value a 7 out of 10, just because I don't think it's like a very inclusive shoe for everyone, but I think for the right people, very, very worthwhile to help you accomplish those goals. So with that said, here's our overall score. I think probably based on what I've shared, this video should give you good direction on whether it's worthwhile to like order and test out for a little bit. I think Nike has a pretty lenient return policy, or go to your local Nike store, try them out, see if they fit. Or maybe you watch this video and you're like, wow, $220, or wow, the design, not for me. I'm going to look at something else. That's completely fine. But I got a second pair just because my fastest marathon is 3 hours and 2 minutes. I have the Columbus Marathon next month where I'm shooting for a sub 3 hour marathon. And if it doesn't happen in Columbus, I'll probably be looking at doing a spring race. And so having these to finish off my training block and these for the next one, I think will pay good dividends for me. And yeah, it's kind of one of those things like it's going to be hard to transition away from these shoes after buying them, but I'm investing in myself for my goals and everything like that. So that's the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or reach out directly to me. If you have any products that you want me to try, feel free to let me know, or just like general recommendations. And as always, don't forget to run brighter. We'll see you again soon.